They're the last small-town team. Welcome to 105 Sports, and today I'll be counting down the top 10 Green Bay Packers of all time. Before we begin, some honorable mentions go out to Jerry Kramer, founder Curly Lambeau, and of course, head coach Vince Lombardi. Number 10, Reggie White. The first player to appear on two separate lists arrived in Green Bay after being one of the most sought-after free agents in history. White continued to dominate during his first season in Green Bay with 13 sacks and a Pro Bowl appearance. In 1995, White's 12 sacks earned him NFC Defensive Player of the Year. The following season, White helped the Packers reach Super Bowl 31, where he made a record 3 sacks during the game and helped them take the Lombardi Trophy back to Green Bay. In 1998, at the age of 37, White recorded 16 sacks and took home his second NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. White made 68.5 of his 198 career sacks while in Green Bay and had his number retired in 2007. The reason he is so low on this list is due to the fact that he spent his most significant years with Philadelphia. Number 9, Paul Hornung. This Heisman Trophy winner was taken with the first overall pick of the 1957 draft and did a bit of everything for the Pack. His versatility helped him score a then-record 176 points in 1960, a mark which stood until 2006. That season, Hornung was named MVP after scoring a league-leading 13 rushing touchdowns and catching 2 more, while also taking home his first of 4 championships. Though he had his fair share of controversial moments, including a lawsuit with the league over the Corvette he received for winning MVP, as well as his year-long suspension in 1963 due to betting on games, Hornung's impact on football is undeniable, and he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1986. Number 8, Herb Adderley. Drafted as a running back in 1961, there was little room for Adderley to make an impact, with 2 already established backs in front of him. But on Thanksgiving of that year, Adderley replaced an injured teammate at corner and intercepted his first pass. From then on, he was a staple of the Packers defense, helping him win 5 championships in his 9 seasons with the team. He was a 6-time All-Pro and a 5-time Pro Bowler and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1980 after becoming the only player in NFL history to reach 4 of the first 5 Super Bowls. Number 7, Jim Taylor. The workhorse of the Packers' Hall of Fame backfield and battery mate of Paul Hornung, Taylor arrived in 1960, leading the league with 230 carries while rushing for over 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. The next season, he continued to improve with over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns while helping the Packers win the 1961 NFL Championship. In 1962, Taylor had the best season of his career, leading the league with 1,474 yards and 19 touchdowns while taking home MVP and his second straight NFL championship. Though his workload and stats began to decline into his 30s, Taylor helped the Packers win championships in both 1965 and 66, rushing for nearly 250 yards between the games. He's the Packers' all-time leader in rushing touchdowns and second in rushing yards, and he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1976. Number 6, Forrest Gregg. The anchor of the famed Packers sweep, Gregg was the one who led the way for legends such as Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung during both of their MVP seasons. Known for his picture-perfect technique and attention to detail, Gregg became one of the most feared offensive tackles of his era, winning 5 championships. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler and a 7-time All-Pro and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977. Number 5, Ray Nitschke. Everything about this man was intimidating, from his large 6'3", 235-pound frame to his missing teeth. Nitschke looked the part of a no-nonsense smash-mouth football player. The leader of Lombardi's defense was one of the most feared hitters in the game, helping the Pack reach 6 championships. Nitschke's greatest ability, however, was his nose for the ball, which was put on display in the 1962 NFL Championship, where he recovered 2 fumbles and deflected a pass that was intercepted. In total, Nitschke recovered 23 fumbles and intercepted 25 passes during his career. His number was retired in 1983, and he was one of the first players of the Packers dynasty to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1978. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. After finally stepping out of the shadows and onto the field in his 4th season, Rodgers was given the opportunity to show the world what he was made of. Following one of the most storied careers in NFL history, Rodgers had some big shoes to fill. But any doubt about it was quickly cast aside when he threw for 28 touchdowns and 13 interceptions while gaining 4,000 yards in his first season as a starter. From there, a star was born, and just 2 seasons later, Rodgers was bringing the Lombardi Trophy back home to Green Bay after a Super Bowl 45 victory. The following season, Rodgers embarked on an incredible campaign, passing for over 4,600 yards while scoring 5 touchdowns and throwing only 6 interceptions. While he and the Pack were unable to repeat, Rodgers took home league MVP. In 2014, Rodgers again won MVP after passing for 38 touchdowns while throwing only 5 interceptions. Rodgers has led Green Bay to the playoffs in 8 of his first 10 seasons as a starter, and at only 34, he is likely to lead the team to further success for at least a few more years. But if he were to retire today, there is no doubt that he would be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and serve as an impressive continuation of the Packers' lineage of great quarterbacks. Number 3, Bart Starr. There's been a lot of talk about the Packers' success of the early 60s, and you may be quick to attribute most of that credit to head coach Vince Lombardi, but you must not forget the man under center for many of those years. While Starr never quite lit up the stat sheet, he was a proper student of the game, as he constantly worked with Lombardi to craft the Packers' offense into the force that it became. He was also very old school in that he called his own plays on the fly, almost like having a second head coach. His most famous call came when he snuck the ball into the end zone with just seconds to go in the 1967 NFL Championship game, also known as the Ice Bowl, earning the Packers the right to attend Super Bowl II. Starr was named Super Bowl MVP in each of the game's first two iterations after leading the Packers to victory and cementing their place in history. Following his playing career, Starr went on to coach the Packers for 8 seasons between 1975 and 1983, and he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977. Number 2, Brett Favre. It's hard to believe that it has been nearly 8 years since number 4 played his final snap. Over his 20-year career, the masses watched this baby-faced gunslinger from Mississippi grow into a grizzled old man who never knew when to quit. Favre arrived in Green Bay in 1992 after being traded from the Atlanta Falcons and quickly became a star. By 1995, he began embarking on a historic run of 3 straight MVP seasons, leading the league in touchdowns each year and winning Super Bowl 31 in the process. Though this was his statistical height, Favre continued to lead the Packers to contention for several years. Following the 2007 season, Favre began a long back and forth with his career, constantly changing his mind on whether or not to retire. It was at this time the Packers allowed him to walk, leaving him unable to finish his career in Green Bay. At the time of his retirement, Favre had held NFL records in nearly every major passing category, including yards, wins, and touchdowns. While some like attempts and completions still stand, his most impressive record is likely to stand the test of time, as he made 297 consecutive starts. With the increase in shortened careers, and the injury bug seeming to find everybody at some point, it seems as though this record will be around for quite a while. After all was said and done, Favre was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2016 after one of the greatest careers in NFL history. Number 1, Don Hutson. Arguably the most influential pass catcher in history, Hutson was the first ever to dominate from the receiver position and put the wheels in motion to popularizing the forward pass. Hutson was a man of many achievements and milestones, including becoming the first player to gain over 1,000 yards in a season in 1942. He was also a 3-time NFL champion under the guidance of founder Curly Lambeau. However, the most impressive thing about Hutson are his records, which include most seasons leading the league in receptions, scoring, and touchdowns, which is just the tip of the iceberg. Hutson also won back-to-back MVP awards in 1941 and 42, scoring 10 and 17 touchdowns respectively. Hutson is still the team's all-time leader in receiving touchdowns with 99, and his number 14 was retired by the team in 1951. He was inducted as a charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1963, and with so much influence and so many records, Hutson is an easy choice for the greatest Green Bay Packer of all time.